So this is what I've been working on it back in the days. And now we also have the Ministry of Research. Endometriosis must be considered as a social or society's disease. Our main goal now is to focus on schools. We want young women and girls to know about this disease. In the past, the society was not listening to us, didn't know about endometriosis. We want to change that. Besides, we focus on the world of work and professionals. We are focusing on professionals to raise their awareness so that they can identify endometriosis. And I do believe that women with endometriosis can go to the GP or to other doctors, such as occupational physicians, so that they can identify endometriosis in order to ensure women's dignity. Then there's also the world of sport. I've been interested in that field for a while now. Some women, some girls stop doing sports because they have painful periods. But this is a shame. Sports is very important to feel good. So we must work on that. We must work on that in order to improve diagnosis, treatment, research on endometriosis. Endometriosis cannot be simply dealt with a pill that has side effects. We need better treatment. We need clinical recommendations with an update on endometriosis. And we need a global care and customized care of endometriosis. Endometriosis is a major health concern at the moment. WHO, World Health Organization, is working on that topic. We are working with the WHO on that field. I've given some of your names, Josepha, for instance. They will certainly contact you. There are millions of people that are trying to work on that topic. And we must work on it together. The French presidency of the European Union will arrive in January 2022. If today I've decided to hold such a meeting in order to tackle endometriosis with you, it's because I would like to work on it in the future. I will be in charge of a national strategy in France on endometriosis, and next year, during the French presidency, I would like us to mobilize against endometriosis, not only online, but also inside, hopefully. I want to work with the professionals, with the associations, with the physicians, with the researchers, with the commitment of the European Union. Indeed, we must strengthen research on endometriosis. There are means today that exist. And you know, I've been talking with the president of the medicine agency, and I asked her if we would work on endometriosis. And you know, I made 2 amendments to talk about endometriosis, and then because once a month I am still working as a physician for free, but Horace will moderate, and then my colleague Katalin will come. She's an MEP from Hungary. She's a gynecologist, and together we will try to promote this cause at the European Parliament level. I've been exchanging with the Commissioner for Health, and I exposed her the issue of women's health. As you know, women's health is a very important topic. Women have specific diseases, including endometriosis, menopause, postpartum depression, and so on. They are key public health topics that must be tackled at the European level. And this is why that today I would like to thank you all for being here. I hope we can consider ourselves like a working group. I'd like to start working on endometriosis together, and I will be your relay at the European institutions level. I am there to convey your message. This topic should be a priority of the European agenda, and I will be there to convey this message. I'd like to thank you all. I'd like to thank all the associations, and you have the floor. Thank you very much, Chrysoula de MEP, for setting the pace of this meeting. And now I will switch to English.
Thomas Dubois, Vice-President of Info Endométriose. So this organization that has been founded by Chrysoula. So since 2015, Info Endométriose has been developing information campaigns, creative awareness-raising projects, mobilizing all stakeholders to advance the fight against endometriosis. Our vision, or let's say grand goal, is to ensure that by 2030, endometriosis is recognized and tackled as and combat as a grand major issue of global health, which is clearly not the case at the moment. So on behalf of endometriose, I would like to, I will moderate this meeting today together with Josepha from EndoFrance. So I would like to warmly thank you, Josepha and EndoFrance for cooperation in this effort. I will briefly elaborate further the objectives of the meeting. So the purpose is clearly to set the ground on where we stand in Europe, in the EU, thanks to the contribution of European patients associations today. We have a number of patients associations from diverse EU member states. We also have research projects, leaders, clinicians engaged in cooperation at the EU level. So we will first have a roundtable of patients association from the EU member states, followed by the discussion moderated by Josepha, and then formal presentations, discussions with clinicians and researchers followed, of course, by questions and answers session. So before we start, let me briefly share with you a few objectives we've shared with the participants, with the speakers, sorry, and we'd like also to share with you. So the first objective of the meeting is really to take stock of the situation of endometriosis management in the EU. The second is to propose options to improve information, diagnosis, care and treatment of endometriosis. The third one is to, as much as possible, develop action-oriented recommendations to ensure that endometriosis is taken into account in the EU EU member states research programs and care system. And the third one is to identify options to for initiating a European momentum on endometriosis. So we kindly suggest to keep those objectives in mind during the discussions, but of course feel free to propose ideas, share your experience and expertise. You have, I think, so during the meeting, please make sure that your microphone are on mute, but during the discussion, please use the raise hands function in the Zoom conference system. So that's it for me for the moment. Josepha, the floor is yours.
Hey, hi everyone. Thank you, Thomas, and thank you, Chrysoula, for helping us, supporting us, and this wonderful organization today. I'm really happy to be here, and that's a bit emotional because I will read some lines from Yasmin, but I mean, in 2004, we were the first to kick off with some European associations, the European Information Week of Endometriosis. So I see really that as a success today to have you all here. So a special thanks to all the patient association who are here today. Also to you, Horace, for always supporting us and being in the play. So I will kickstart with a few words maybe on EndoFrance. So I would say we are really trying to have those three pillars. The first one being supporting the patients in France, helping them to live, I would say, a better life with this chronic disease that we all know. And the second aspect is really to inform. That's also what Chrysoula said before, is we will not get through if the whole society does not know what is endometriosis and its challenges. So the communication will be key here, and then act as well on the institution like we are doing today to make sure that also here we have the support from the government, the ministries, and all the institutions that can support us. So I will read a few lines from Yasmin, who is the president of the association, who couldn't make it today. So at the time where Josepha will be reading this line, I will be on a TV show to talk about endometriosis. So we are on all fronts. Our common action of sensibilization will be fruitful, it's for sure. In 2004, EndoFrance and a few European associations that were existing at that time gathered, and together we launched the project of the European Prevention and Information Week of Endometriosis. Back at the time, few people only knew even the word endometriosis. 17 years later, we are happy to participate in this event, and we are thanking our Euro Deputy Chrysoula Zacharoupoulou to make this project happen and this roundtable alive. Let's take a moment to share our experience, our doubts as well, and make something strong for the persons being impacted by endometriosis. Thank you for your help and support to all, and have a nice roundtable. So with those words, I will start with the roundtable. I will invite the panelists of the first roundtable. So Georgia from Happy Endometriosis, Italy, Christina from Endoreal, Spain, Laura from Tuamonando, Belgium, and also Adrienne from Endometriosis, Hungary, together with Dr. Horace Roman, to answer a few questions so that we can really set the ground and see where we are in Europe for the major aspects of endometriosis. So the first piece I want to tackle is the diagnostics, because according to INSERM, so the French Research Center, there is still, I would say, a delay in the diagnostics, of 7 to 10 years, which, as we all know, leads to harmful consequences for women in their life, with potential chronic pain and also infertility. So we see that as an urge really to reduce this delay. And as Chrysoula mentioned before, we are really trying to, first of all, inform young people and make it as well mandatory for the health check of women at young age, maybe around 15, 16, to be informed about this disease. Furthermore, in France, we are really heavily trying to make doctors and medical professionals to be aware of this disease, with some trainings, e-learnings that are going to be released soon, fortunately. And also this year, we have a new university diploma, especially around endometriosis, so that doctors can get trained on that. I will stop speaking now and I will let the floor to the others just to maybe say where you are in your country. So for instance, Italy, Spain, the one I mentioned before, and Horace, feel free to add also your piece here. I know you are very well connected with with Romania, sorry. So very happy to share here. Georgia, do you want to start?
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting us as an association to participate to this roundtable. I represent APE, Associazione Progetto Endometriosi, the Italian patient association. Yes, as Josepha just said, we share the objectives of EndoFrance and also the pillars. We also worked very hard since 2005 to promote information and awareness among the public, so the women. Now, in the last few years, we are concentrating our efforts towards the young women, so girls of school age between 16 and 19 are the target of our biggest campaigns in the last few years. We are going in the schools to talk about endometriosis, and now we are doing it online since a year with a special video story that we had made so that they can get information at the young age. And then they have a way to check with a questionnaire if they have some of the symptoms of endometriosis, and they can get help via our association to be referred for a checkup, for example. And we also are engaging a lot of our efforts in the medical education because we found it also lacking in Italy. And so we promote general seminars for the family doctors, the nurses and midwives, but we also organize specialty courses for young gynecologists so that they can be trained over the course of a week and mostly in a specialty surgery and ultrasound through one of the good excellency centrum in Italy. So we share a lot of your efforts and also of your concerns. The diagnostic delay is still really very big also in Italy, and the pain in women is still very much normalized in the culture and the society. So still young girls nowadays, they still hear from their moms or from the doctors that having so much pain is normal and that there's nothing that should be done. And we want very much to fight this.
Thank you very much. That's extremely interesting, and thank you for sharing best practices. Christina, do you want to take it up?
Okay, thank you. Hi, good morning, everybody. So, well, I'm Cristina. I'm co-founder from EndoReal, an association in Ciudad Real, a small province of Spain in Castilla-La Mancha, close to Madrid. Well, our association is very, very young. So we started last year in 2020. Not a good year to start any kind of association, but well. And well, our aims are as your aims to try to fight against the endometriosis and all the taboos that we still have in our society. Try to support the women with endometriosis, and a very important issue for us is to support the young girls, the teenagers with these kind of symptoms that are still not well informed, and they have to support to hear a lot of bad things from the teachers, from the colleagues, and we want to support them to make awareness about this endometriosis, to make them feel like we felt in that times. And another important aim for us is to make that our public health system so effective as in the big cities. For example, in Spain, the public health system is centralized by provinces. And then, for example, in Madrid or in Barcelona, you could find a good unity of endometriosis with a specialist, and in Ciudad Real that's not possible. So that's also one of our aims, because they just when we go to the doctor, they just take you as a patient with some kind of pains, but not any kind of illness that could have other problems, other consequences. Well, we wanted to create also a European collaboration with EndoFrance and with other countries to make this awareness campaign, and to make this to take focus on these youth people, these young people, these youth, to support them from the beginning. So, well, I share with you, of course, all the objectives, all the ideas about fight for this to support these women, and to empower the women against this endometriosis. And well, we are open to collaboration. As you said, I feel very European, and I want to make a better Europe for all the women and for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Laura, do you want to jump in? You are on mute.
On m'entend? Oui, parfait. Alors, je vais parler en français, ce sera plus facile.
Can you hear me now? Yes, okay, I will speak in French. That will be easier for me. Thank you very much indeed for your invitation as a young association. It goes straight to our heart. So I created this association in 2020 during the COVID crisis. It was not easy, but I believe it was important to do it. The reason I set it up is that I wanted to prepare what was missing for me when I was looking for answers. So I decided to set such a body so that no one would be in my position not to have access to what they needed. This association did not exist, such an association did not exist in Belgium. We go to all secondary schools. We started last month. So we start targeting women and boys as from the age of 17. Also boys, because they also can be indirectly impacted by their sisters or cousins and so forth. And we give them a booklet, a leaflet, in which they have all the information of endometriosis specialized center in Belgium. And also in this leaflet, there is also information for those who believe that they might be impacted. And there are explanations on what to do to be diagnosed. We also go to youth movements and family planning. So we really try to be in touch with all young people, because we want to counterbalance the sad situation of infertility or chronic pains which last too long and which maybe could be cured earlier in order to reduce as much as possible sufferings. We also go to hospitals. For example, this week, the whole week, we were raising awareness of patients in the ecological department and other patients. We try to make them understand that maybe they are not suffering from it, but maybe they know girls suffering from it, so that we have as much impact as possible by raising awareness amongst as many people as possible. And we also go to the last year of medical school to raise awareness amongst the next generation of doctors, so that before they become doctors, they will have more than just a theory. They will have first-hand experience from patients suffering from the disease and reasons why it should be taken seriously. So We try, we focus on information and awareness raising. Of course, we don't forget women who are already diagnosed. We try to have free yoga classes every month, and also relaxation classes every month for free, of course. We do not forget women who have already been diagnosed, to soften their daily lives and to support them, make them aware that we are on their side. And this is the way I believe that we are going to change things, make things progress in the right direction. Then we have many contacts with MPs in Belgium. We also try to influence the health ministry of Belgium. We always try to remind them that we exist, that we are here. So if things change at the level of Belgium, that would be good, of course. It would be magical if it would happen at the level of the EU. Hence the importance to discuss the topic. So thank you very much indeed to the organizers of today's meeting. I'm sure that we will be able to do many things together.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Laura. This is extremely inspiring. And I'm also conscious that in the audience, we have other association of patients from other country, maybe in Europe, or also outside of Europe. So thank you for sharing this. I will let maybe Adrienne jump in on the subject. So Adrienne, is it the same delay in Hungary about diagnosis? How are you tackling this subject in Hungary?
Thank you, Josepha. Thank you for inviting me for this huge meeting. I'm very happy that I can meet all in this meeting. I think it's really fantastic that we can cooperate and know each other's work. We work in Hungary as the only official NGO is to raise awareness and educate about endometriosis and support women suffering from this disease. In Hungary, there is a 4 years delay. We work closely together with Attila Bokor. Maybe you know him from different kind of articles about endometriosis or from conferences. I think this cooperation helps us to reduce this delay. Our main objectives and activities are raising awareness, education, community building, and we have huge lobby activity. In this year, we are working on a book for patients with Attila. We are working on an endobox for patients who will be operated. They will get for this box before the operation to give information. We are working educational videos with experts. We would like to share these videos with gynecologists, family doctors, nurses, general practitioners, that they know better this endometriosis. We are working on a school education program as well. We would like to change the national curriculum. I hope this pilot project can be started next September, because we are in a little bit delay because of this pandemic. We have several Instagram live talks, webinars about endometriosis with experts and patients during all the year. We are publishing articles about endometriosis. We have social media campaigns. This month, we asked more than 50 influencers on Instagram to share their thoughts about endometriosis and tag our website. It was very successful. And we have also a social media campaign called Lost Days, because we counted that women with endometriosis suffer on average of 3 days a month from painful menstruation, and it takes an average of 9 years to get an accurate diagnosis. And adding up these days, the women involved spend almost a full year in pain instead of living a full life. And we shot a video and we shared this through a clickbait campaign in Hungary. We take part in cooperations with companies. I think some of you are also in Body Forms project. I will share it in the comment. And we are very happy and proud of taking part in an EU-granted project. This name is Female, and this grant has been awarded from the Horizon 22 pool to the four-year Female project, which focuses entirely on improving diagnosis, prevention, and care of endometriosis. The project is led by Aarhus University, along with another 15 collaborators, and I think it's a great opportunity, the prevention of endometriosis, and maybe we can be improved together with earlier diagnosis and support for self-care. And we are responsible for communication of Lucy application for patients in this project. It is available in English as well, so maybe I can share it with you. Thank you.
Definitely, more than happy. Thank you, Adrienne. This is extremely inspiring, and I think everybody was as well a bit surprised that in Hungary, the delay of diagnosis is 4 years only. I mean, we would all pray, we are all praying for this delay to be reduced, but that's a great achievement from you, Adrienne, and so inspiring to hear about everything you are doing. I will just present Dr. Horace, who is the president of the European Endometriosis League. Horace, no, sorry, did I miss it?
I'm not president, I'm in the board. I will be the president of the next Congress, but I'm not the president of the league.
Ah, right, because I checked about the Congress, yeah. Right? So that's where I saw it, but so not yet the president. So Horace, do you maybe want to add what is your medical and approach on that as a doctor, as an expert of this disease? How do you think we can also bring at the European level all the doctors to be very aware of what is endometriosis and reduce the delay of diagnosis?
Sure, thank you very much. So I'm very happy to be part of this this very original meeting, and I want to thank EndoFrance, Chrysoula, and all organization association in Europe. So I am also happy to have decided 15 years ago to focus my activity on endometriosis. And honestly, 15 years ago, I have never imagined the development of this disease and of the research and surgical techniques around this disease, which was somehow overlooked in 2000, 2005. So now it is obvious that we have to organize the health policy around this disease because it is a frequent disease. But also we have to try to make politics understanding what you are talking about. Because obviously we are speaking about a very, very frequent disease. The prevalence of endometriosis is very high. It's about 10%, 5%, 10%. Nobody knows because we have no very accurate epidemiological study. The unique epidemiological study which could assess the frequency of the endometriosis in a country would be to choose randomly 1,000 women and to perform a laparoscopy and to see who has and who has not endometriosis. So this is the unique study. However, it is not feasible. You agree with me? So maybe we are 10% or 5%. However, 10%, 5% in France, 5% of women from 15 to 40-year-old means almost 700,000 women. It is obviously that not all these 7,100 women will be very symptomatic and with quality of life dramatically impaired by the disease. So we have to make people understand that we are speaking about a disease which is very heterogeneous. And fortunately, a big majority, a large majority of patients will not be very embarrassed by the disease because they will be stage 1, very few symptomatic disease. But we have to diagnose and to treat and to give accurate care to the small part of patients who have a disease which impairs the fertility or the quality of life, painful disease. And physicians should be trained to diagnose and to manage this disease. Because the delay of the diagnosis is maybe 4 years, 7 years. It depends on several factors. It depends which is the onset of the disease, which is the first symptom. If you consider that the first symptom is the dysmenorrhea, it means that the onset of the disease could be placed between 13 or 14 years. It means that the delay will be very long until the diagnosis. If you consider that the first symptom is dyspareunia, maybe the onset of the disease is around 17 years. So it is difficult to see when the diagnosis would have been done. But there is another delay which may be shortened, is the delay from the diagnosis to the good treatment. Because if you have a look in my office, I see a lot of patients which need heavy surgery, difficult surgery, advanced surgery. However, none of them was diagnosed last week. All of them were diagnosed 5 years, 10 years previously. They had some treatment more or less efficient, 1 or 2 or 3 IVF, and now they need a treatment because the quality of life is very impaired. So we may also focus on this delay from the diagnosis to the right treatment, which is not surgical. It may be medical or IVF, but we have to work on these 2 delays. And if the delay to the diagnosis is short, but the delay from the diagnosis to the good treatment is long, there is no benefit for the patient, okay? So to improve the diagnosis, we need 2 factors. First, women should be informed that they may be concerned by the disease. And this is very, very useful. What are you doing to inform the general population, to go to schools? And even me, next week, I will visit a secondary school in Bordeaux to give a talk about endometriosis. And in Normandy, the president of EndoFrance and my colleague Isabella Chanavaz visited all the nurses, school nurses, to inform them about the disease and to inform them about the probability, the likelihood of endometriosis in young girls who have pain every week during the same 2 or 3 days. So this is very, very good point. The patient should ask to physicians, may I have an endometriosis? But then there is another point we have to improve, is the answer from the physician. Because if the physician said, oh no, don't care, there's no disease, it's into your head, the diagnosis will stop there. So we have to improve the knowledge of physicians about the disease. And the problem is that the endometriosis was not taught in the university in France until this year. So the general practitioners and even the gynecologists were not very aware about what the endometriosis looks like. So the diagnosis was delayed because the physicians were not trained to diagnose. And this is another point, and this here, Chrysoula should play a role, a very important role, to improve the training of general practitioners in France. And this should start at the university and then with the post-university training. So it's a very huge work we have to accomplish, and I hope not to be retired before to see this work accomplished. It will take time, a long time, but in Normandy, where I spent 10 years of my life and my practice, we started in 2013 to build such a web with the general practitioners, with the radiologists, with the gynecologists, and I think that we actually could improve the diagnosis and the management of women with endometriosis. So it is feasible. It takes some years, but if we have the help of politics and if we have the help of Chrysoula, we can do it in France and we can do it in Europe.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Horace. Thank you for this, I would say, perspective from the medical side. Being conscious of the time, Thomas, I will just ask you, we're 11:50. So can we tackle another topic, or do we have anyone in a hurry that needs to speak afterwards? It's okay?
It's okay, yes, we're fine, totally fine.
Okay, good. Because the second topic I wanted to tackle, and Christina, you already touched it a bit, is the medical pathway. Horace was also here, he talked about Normandy, and in Normandy we have in France the first expert center that was created in France as well, so together with Horace, Isabella, and also EndoFrance back at the time. But we realized that actually it's not sufficient, and the turn we are taking in France is to have more of a regional network with first, I would say, practitioners like nurses, midwives, GPs, who are able to, I would say, take the first intention, either the diagnostic or the first intention treatment. Then you have, I would say, a second level of practitioners who are here, and or Horace, correct me if I'm wrong, but who are here to take up specific projects, whether it is pain or fertility. And then you have the third level with really experts of the disease, with multidisciplinary teams who are able to perform complicated surgeries. And that would, I would say, especially in France, which is a big country, that would also help, I would say, the patients to have a medical care also next to their house. I mean, not house, but at least from half an hour or an hour reach. Also to avoid, like you said, for instance, Christina, that you have to go to Barcelona or Madrid to have a doctor. So is it also the way that your countries are thinking about it, or do you have any other best practice to share maybe around that?
Should I start again? So yes, like Christina said, also in Italy, the healthcare is administrated at the regional level. So we have a lot of different situations in the country. It's a very uneven and heterogeneous situation with very good, excellent centers, and then regions where there is no specialty center for endometriosis. In one region, Emilia-Romagna, which is in the north center of the country, there are specific care pathways that have been approved and are being applied. And that's also our goal for the whole country. That's just how you said, a standardized pathway of care for endometriosis patients or suspected endometriosis patients that organizes all levels of care from the primary level, so the local hospitals or consultories or the family doctors, to the secondary centers and the tertiary centers, the university hubs, the surgical centers, and the IVF centers. And that's, of course, ideal for all patients to receive the best quality of care possible. For now, it's only applied in one region, which leaves our association doing a lot of helping out the women that don't know where to look for help. We have a lot of women, especially in the south, who have to travel for 6 hours to reach the nearest center who knows something about endometriosis. We keep an updated list of endometriosis center, which is free for all our associates to consult, to see, so that women know where to look for care. But of course, there's a lot of delays and there's a lot of waste also of time and money because it's not well organized. And we are also working with the institutions in our country. We are trying we are lobbying for, to make it a standardized care in the whole country, but we are not there yet.
Thank you, Georgia.
So Josepha, maybe there are a few comments in the chat, which are quite interesting, actually, about the second delay. And so I don't know, maybe if you want to open the mic on that, but we have a comment, for instance, from Rebecca, that she said that we have delays in referral for many family doctors or gynecologists and endometriosis specialist centers, which also delays treatment. I don't know, Rebecca, maybe if you want to further elaborate your comment or ask questions to the panelists.
Sure. Yeah, I was just putting an explanation actually as to what these specialist centres are. So we have, I think there's 63 across the UK, specialist centres that have been accredited by the British Society for Gynecological Endoscopy. Majority of them are in the NHS. There are a few private clinics, but they're not actually clinics, they're virtual groups, and some of them don't have that many hours of operation. And they've been set up because doctors were interested to set them up. So they don't respond to the population need because they've not been organised, centrally. So although they exist, some of them operate for only 12 hours a month. So there are long waiting lists to get an appointment. And those are for people who have deep endometriosis are supposed to be referred to a specialist centre. But for example, there's only one in the whole of Wales. There's going to be a second one now. So there are issues in terms of hours of operation and where they are. In Scotland, some people are very far away from the nearest one. They're Edinburgh, Glasgow, and Aberdeen. So if you're in the West, you're a long way away from any of those centres. And in some cases, you can't get referral because you don't live in the right area.
Thank you, Rebecca. Very helpful.
We also have another question from Amy. Amy, would you like to ask your question? Take the floor, or maybe. Amy Jane?
Amy, can you hear us?
So the question was what constitutes endometriosis center or specialist clinical center? Maybe Horace, you like to talk about the criteria if there.
Well, may I share my screen?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay. So I will share with you a presentation which was prepared to try to organize our cooperation of clinics in France. So several private clinics, 100 private clinics are associated in a cooperation, and they asked me if we can organize a kind of network filière in français, to organize the management of endometriosis. And as I told you, we have to keep on mind that endometriosis is something like this. It's like a pyramid with a large majority of patients with superficial forms, very few symptomatic, and no problem of fertility. And we have the top of this iceberg, where we have the severe form, which actually requires a very high management and expertise. And infertility is a bit larger. So I imagine that, so this is only my proposal, which is based on 15 years of endometriosis, exclusively based endometriosis activity. So I imagine that such web should be based at the base. We should have the general practitioners, médecins traitants, the gynecologist in office in town, so medical gynecologist, midwives, and school nurses, but also the osteopath and kinesitherapeutics, and all the people, all the specialists which come in contact with patients who have pain somewhere in the abdomen and in the pelvis. And there are these colleagues who will state on the diagnosis. The diagnosis will be here. So we have to improve their knowledge in order to diagnose, but also to attend for the follow-up of the patients and to manage the medical treatment. Then we have the first level facilities, which are not expert centers, but there are facilities where after the diagnosis, the patient can be referred. And here the surgery should be very basic, should be only laparoscopy, so it's completely avoided to carry out an open surgery in this level of facility. So if you cannot do laparoscopically, you refer to a more superior level of care. Deep endometriosis, but very small on the uterosacral ligaments, small ovarian endometriomas, only if the endometriomas are small, not bilateral, not recidivant, and if the ovarian reserve is conserved. This level may also provide ART, so the ART for infertility can be provided in the first level, and also the management of the pain. And this specialist of the first level should teach the specialists, the midwives, the general practitioners should train their colleagues who are on contact with the first diagnosis. Then we have the second level. Here we have a facility which looks like an expert center, because they can see the patients which are too severe for the first level. They should also do only laparoscopy, so stop open surgery for endometriosis. For the severe form, they can perform the deep endometriosis of the colon and rectum, but only if they perform at least 20 cases a year. So the number of cases they experience will play a role in the certification of the second level. At least 10 endometriosis of the urinary tract. They should handle several techniques. So not every body colorectal resection. They should be able to perform a shaving, a disc excision, colorectal resection. For the ovarian endometriosis, they should be able to choose between cystectomy, ablation, sclerotherapy. So they should master the three techniques. They should be able to provide ART to manage the pain, and they should train the colleagues from the first level and the specialist of the diagnosis level. And they should organize at least one meeting a month to discuss the cases the most severe. And then there is the third level. It means 2 or 3 or 4 facilities in a country, in France, where there are only the most severe cases, they should perform, to be its third level, they should carry out at least 50 colorectal procedures a year, at least 25 procedures on the urinary tract. They should perform the ovarian endometriosis treatment by at least 3 techniques. They should be able to carry out the endometriosis of sacral plexus, of sciatic nerve, of the diaphragm, and over very rare localization where the experience is crucial. And they should manage the patient who had 3 or 4 previous surgeries. And also the ART, they should be able to organize master classes or workshop to train the surgeons from the second level, the first level. They should organize the multidisciplinary meeting to discuss the most severe cases. And they should coordinate the research, the clinical trials involving all these facilities. So this is, in my opinion, the graduation of the management. And what I want to emphasize, that is not the goal of each facility is not to be third level. We do not need 50 third level facilities, because the large majority of patients, of women, need the first level care. So, and that's why when we train the colleagues who perform the diagnosis, we should tell them, do not refer all your patients to the third level, because the third level will be, the activity will be completely blocked by a lot of appointments which do not require an experience of third level. So it is very important also to train the general practitioners and the gynecologists, once the diagnosis was made, to know where the patient should be referred. Not everybody to the expert center, because the expert centers can no longer work. So a majority of patients to the first level, far furthermore, the first level is close to the patient domiciliation, because the first level should exist in all towns, and then the second and the third level. So this may avoid first patients to have several surgeries, useless surgeries, because the first level do not know where, physicians from the first level do not know where the patient can be referred, and they do not know what they are allowed to do. So they always try to do the best they can, and then they open the patient and they go back, say that it's too difficult for us. But then the patient should be referred. And from this day onward, the laparoscopy just to see if you can do the surgery should not occur, because with the MRI, we may have MRI and ultrasound, we may have a very, very good idea about all the localization of the disease. So I used to say that every time I perform a surgery, I need to see the surgery the day before. So I need to know all the localization I have to remove. So this is feasible now in endometriosis with MRI and ultrasound. So the woman should have one surgery and then the prophylaxis for the recurrence with a contraceptive pill and continuous intake. So this is my idea. This is my opinion. So this is not mandatory that other colleagues or you share this opinion, but this is the results of 10 or 15 years of thought about the management of the disease.
Thank you, Horace. That's extremely interesting, and we also feel that you are passionate about the subject and that you spend really hours about thinking and trying to help the patients. I saw interesting comments from Adrienne. Maybe do you want to explain a bit how is the structure in Hungary? Because you said you have 10 experts. So is it also kind of a network in that way?
Yes, just a moment. Yes, we have 4 centers in bigger cities, and there are these experts. I think these 10 experts is not so much. In Hungary, there are 200,000 women with endometriosis waiting. So, and I think the delay is because gynecologists who are not experts in endometriosis often don't move women to these centers. So maybe this could be the problem, but we are working on this educational videos for these doctors. And now we have this political problem that in Hungary, between the private and the public health care was connection. And now it's off. So now we have problems because when a doctor has his patient in her private practice, and he was operated in the public. Now, after March, she couldn't be operated once again by this doctor. So it's now a big problem. Because in deep infiltrating endometriosis, only 3 experts we have. And now it's the biggest problem, but we are in a discussion with the government that we have to solve this problem.
Okay, thank you.
May
yeah, sure.
Jó napot kívánok, Adrienne.
Hello.
Thank you for your thoughts. So I know very, very well Attila because he's one of my best friends.
Yes.
So in Hungary, if you have 10 very good experts in endometriosis, it is enough for the top of the pyramid.
Yes.
So now this expert should train the first level and the second level.
Yes.
So the situation in Hungary is not dramatical.
Yes.
And thanks to you and to Attila and to our colleagues, the first level and the second level could be trained. So, but 10 specialists for 200,000 women may be enough if they manage only the most severe cases. If they have to manage the superficial endometriosis because the patients do not know where they can go elsewhere than to the expert center, there is problematic.
Yes, now we are working on this, and I think that's why there is only 4 years delay in Hungary, because it works with Attila and his team.
Okay.
Thank you.
Köszönöm.
Christina or Laura, do you want to add something on how it is eventually in Spain or Belgium when it comes to the treatment and the medical pathways?
So, hi.
Est-ce qu'on m'entend?
Sorry, Laura, you want to talk? Est-ce que tu veux parler?
Do you want to take the floor first?
N'importe.
Up to you.
Okay, well, I start. Well, in Spain, as I said, at least in Ciudad Real, as it is a small province, it is quite hard because we don't have this specific unit. And well, in 2013, so the Ministry of Health made a guide for women with endometriosis, and in that guide they propose to have at least 1 unit of endometriosis in everywhere. But nowadays, in 2021, we're still without a specific unit in Ciudad Real, for example. And with that you said about the primary assistance or services, that's quite important as well. We consider that that's also very important, because if they could find the problem from the beginning, that could be a great solution, because even we shouldn't need such a big specialist, because it will not take so much time, and it will not be so difficult, the situation maybe. But well, in Spain the situation is not so good, at least in small places as Ciudad Real, for example, unfortunately.
Okay. Laura, you are in hospital since yesterday to train and to sensibilize doctors, so maybe you can give us a glimpse on how it is in Belgium.
Alors, on m'entend bien?
Well, can you hear me? Yes, wonderful. Well, Belgium is a very small country. You can cross Belgium within 2 hours, so it is pretty easy when it comes to going to endometriosis centers. We have 3 specialist centers with a multidisciplinary approach. So we have gynecologist, gynesiologist, sex experts, and so on. So multidisciplinary centers, so this is a very good thing, but we don't communicate enough about endometriosis. We have some women that go to a clinic, a center that is quite far away from their home, while there's another clinic that exists next door, but they don't know about it. So we've developed a map with the different endometriosis centers, and girls, women can put their address and see where are the centers next to their home. Moreover, there are centers and or small centers, there are doctors, GPs that are aware of endometriosis and that can refer patients to proper centers. However, in Belgium, there's no certification. Any gynecologist can say, I'm a specialist in endometriosis. So this makes things difficult. Indeed, we have more and more people saying, I'm an expert in endometriosis, while they do not operate on patients, they do not train themselves on endometriosis. So it is sometimes difficult to know who's really a specialist in endometriosis. Is he, is she a real expert? Because we know this can be a market. People are interested in making money, and we'd like to implement a certification or a diploma to say, okay, this person is really a specialist on endometriosis, someone who has been trained on it. And as I was saying, Belgium is a pretty small country. Therefore, you can reach an endometriosis center quite easily by train, by car. It is easier than in Spain, for instance, which is a very large country, or France as well. So in Belgium, we have the chance of being a very small country with different centers. So that's how the situation is in Belgium. Thank you.
Thank you very much all. I think it was very much needed just to exchange on best practice and where we are. Again, I'm extremely happy, and it's a lot of emotion for me because I also feel the spirit of all of you today wanting to make the things go further. Thank you again, Horace, for sharing your thoughts. Is that something that is going to be tackled in the European Endometriosis Congress in December, so that we can already spread the word maybe to the patient association if they want their, I would say, doctors in their country as well to attend? That will help, I would say, to share experience and best practice. Yes? We can't hear you.
I understand it's a yes.
Yeah. So the Congress has been announced. So it will be a Congress. We hope it will be conventional and not virtual, because the virtual Congresses are less interesting. Yes. So we need to meet together and we speak together, even with a glass of wine in our hand. But we need to share our thoughts, not only virtually. So I hope that thanks to the vaccination, we will be able to organize a real and actual meeting. And we will have 1 2-hour session, which is long for a two-day Congress. So with about the organization of the care, healthcare in Europe. And may I share my screen again?
Sure. So just FYI, so this Congress will be in Bordeaux,
yes,
in France on the 16th and 17th December. Yes. So maybe there is a website, so that's where I checked this morning. You can easily go there. I will share it.
It will be 16 and 17 December. And it is organized by the European Endometriosis League. So we'll have honorary president of the Congress, the Professor Emeritus Dan Martin, which is one of the pioneers of the endometriosis in the world. And we'll have a very interesting debate for those who are interested about where endometriosis come from. So I will invite him and David Redwine to debate about this, because I'm very good friend with both of them, Redwine and Martin, and they told me that they will be here. And the session about which I talked about is X% and endometriosis. What does it mean? And we'll share about different countries. The Denmark, which is the pioneer in the centralization of the care in endometriosis. France, Germany, Italy, and then we'll finish by the European Agreement and the World Endometriosis Society Agreement. So it will be a very, very interesting session, I think. So I tried to organize, to schedule only interesting sessions. We have also a session about the deep endometriosis of the sacral plexus, and Saturday, there will be the Patient's Day. So you're very welcome to this Patient's Day. Which is organized with EndoFrance, but also with all the associations. All the associations are very welcome for this Patient's Day.